Hi, I'm Darren Palmer, and this is Almost Home, a podcast about dreamers still finding their place. My career has taken me many places, from design studios to your TV screen. With this podcast, though, I'm going somewhere completely different. Today, I join legendary interior stylist and author Steve Cordony in his Sydney apartment to discuss his breathtaking farmhouse nestled in the hills of Orange and the end of an era. But what begins as a conversation about design inspiration pulls at something deeper: the beauty of finding traces of our childhood in the homes we build as adults. So let's step inside with Steve and hear how he's finding himself almost home. My TurboBlade ultra-powerful bladeless tower fan by Shark could not have come at a better time. With summer heating up, I've barely been able to keep my shirt on these days. And now, cool bliss. Twistable, pivotable, oscillating, shirt-friendly bliss. With adjustable vents, multiple cooling modes, and a chic look, it's so cool, it's kind of stealing my thunder. The TurboBlade ultra-powerful bladeless tower fan by Shark. Ultra-powerful, endlessly adjustable. So in 2005, I used to live about a block and a half away from here in Springfield Avenue, and I renovated an apartment that my now ex and I bought together, and it was the first thing I ever designed, and it got photographed and then put in front of the editor of Bell and then published in Bell in 2005. And you started working with Bell Magazine in 2007?
Correct.
Yeah. So we've got this common thread that's gone back a long, long time.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. The first thing I ever designed.
That was the first project.
First thing ever.
And
Bell.
we've known each other since then.
Yeah, that's right.
Since 2007. Wow.
Exactly. And, you know, one of the things I love about having conversations with you, which is why I wanted to have a conversation with you, is the conversations we have. Because it's so common that when we're speaking, we're often side by side on a stage somewhere or something, and we're very public facing. And then we're having these quiet conversations off to the side going, okay, so how is everything really? Like,
how are you really?
How's it going? And it's like, oh, I'm exhausted. Oh man, things are hard. And, but the public facing, the facade, you know, and I say facade, it's like the face of the coin that I show versus the face of the coin that I keep for myself.
Yeah.
But we both sit on the other side of that veil. And I think the conversations we have, they're so real and raw, which is why I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I love that. Thank you for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. Tell me, before we get too much further into, you know, where you live right now, I want to know about little Steve. Little Steve growing up in Northern Beaches?
North Shore, yeah.
North Shore.
North Shore, Big Cross.
So Maltese
mother
who was an interior designer.
Interior decorator, yeah, correct.
Right. And you have a Italian father who was a builder.
Yeah.
So thankfully, genetics.
I mean, it was there.
Give us you.
The
and
zhuzha,
also
the ultimate zhuzha.
And also, the genes all worked.
Well, I can't. The skin, the olive skin, the food. Like, I mean, there's a lot to be grateful for and thankful for my parents. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it obviously informed a lot about the sort of practicality and aesthetic-driven life that you lead.
Yeah.
Tell me about what your childhood home looked like.
It was beautiful. Like, I think I remember the first time growing up, which was a really lovely kind of, Mum's got a very classic traditional kind of look, but like great with colors. So like lots of different colored rooms, but all tonal and that worked. But I think that the best part about growing up with mum and dad was the entertaining aspect. And I think, you know, you mentioned the culture, like Italian, Maltese, and from that, yes, comes the skin and the food and all that. But I think the passion comes from that the most. And I think that's the drive that I have. And so I've been around that, not just, you know, physically and aesthetically. I think that kind of intangible thing of being driven and being passionate about what you do every day was the best sort of start that I could have got. And so, yeah, we were always having, you know, renovating and different things. But the two houses, that first time that I was up and that was there till probably year 7. And then we moved into, funnily enough, a dream house that my mum and possibly my dad used to drive past, and she would always think one day I want to have that house. So it's a 1901 heritage listed house in Beecroft, and it's beautiful. And it needed a lot of work. And so we moved into that when I was in year seven, sorry. And that was like a long, actually funny now, like things are literally tweaked because I've never had this conversation with someone, but you're thinking exactly the same thing, which is so funny. I've never actually kind of like made that connection.
I literally was making that connection as we were talking. I was like, your mum saw the house that would be the perfect home. And it's a tangent to exactly what you did with Rosedale Farm, right?
Yeah. I've never made that connection until this very moment. It's so funny.
Wow.
Let's just have a moment for that. But it's true. It's true. That's like, if I had hair on my arms, they'd be kind of like goosebumpy. Yeah, wow. But that's the thing. It was like she envisioned that. And I think I envisioned the farm. And so that kind of symbiosis. And even now I'm like, the details are running through my head. That was a long renovation.
I want to know all
that
about
was like,
it.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
So we'll think about that house because that's my like, the main house that I remember and that they still have now and my dogs are currently. 1901, heritage listed, tall ceilings, big yard, beautiful garden, quite formal. Again, more color and different sort of aesthetic to me, but like the detail. So the classic elements of what I do now, because I always, I love a contemporary kind of edge, but very much European traditional details. That was all there. The staircase, the foyer, the beautiful Oregon timber floors and, the beautiful cornice and the plaster and the roses, ceiling roses. And it's funny because I've spoken about this so many times. Like mum would always take me out on the weekends to go to antique shopping and I would hate it. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go because I love shopping, but for anything. And that's what I did now, like with the farm. I was like constantly going to antique stores and scouring like auction houses, like every day in, day out. And so like, yes, this like symbiosis between that renovation and this renovation was huge.
It's funny. I can shop for furniture, interior stuff all day, every day, no problem. I hate shopping for anything else. Clothes shopping.
Really?
No, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Like this is just, I literally walk into a store and I'm like, that. Done.
Yeah.
Out.
I like shopping at any point, no matter what it is.
You're expensive.
Correct. Yeah.
So what did your room look like when in your childhood
my God.
home?
My room was, I had the smallest room. My brother and sister had the biggest rooms.
Unfair.
It went by age, correct. But it was all navy blues. It was very Ralph Lauren inspired. Even with like the cushions with the teddy bear and like the ticking stripe bed head.
I love, by the way, that you said Ralph Lauren, the way that people should say Ralph Lauren. Because it's not
Lauren?
Ralph Lauren, he's American. It's Ralph Lauren.
It's Ralph Lauren. And I've been very lucky to work with them many times and I had to get that into my psyche because I used to say Loren, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And I met David Lauren in Milan just a couple of months ago. So I'm like, no, it's Lauren. So it was very much that kind of vibe, right? And the pool and the big yard and like the formal gardens and it was a great house to grow up in. It was, but being around that as well. Like we lived in the old part before we put the full-on extension on. So there was like this really daggy old kitchen and then we had to like pull off the brown striped wallpaper.
With the steamer.
So we did that on the weekends and like so many of these things we did with the farm, which is hilarious.
So what age did you leave that home?
When I was 24.
Right.
24.
Like a good ethnic boy.
Totally. Like a good closeted ethnic boy. Really. And then I moved straight out into an apartment in Surrey Hills.
And so did you ever see Surrey Hills as home?
I did.
Kind of?
I did.
So that was like an interim home, or was that like how long were you in there before the inevitable approach of the idea of Rosedale Farm?
Much younger, much earlier. I was probably there, 20, God, numbers and age. God, this is showing my age.
Dude.
Right?
I do everything I can not to show my age. But
no, we don't have to. We have to let it happen. No, so I was probably 20, 25, 26. I was there with my partner and he was renting it at that point, and then I think probably 2 years in, we bought it, and it was a very cosmetic kind of renovation. But it was the first house that I moved into, or first apartment, I should say, that I moved into
home?
out of home.
Whoa.
And so there was so many things that was with that. Like there was just, this is how to make a home, and I loved it. And the funny thing is that even in those interim times, so when we were renting before we bought it, like this apartment that I'm in now, before I move on to the next thing, and 2 other places, one in Wallara, one in Tamarama, they've always had a connection and felt like home. Because I think my biggest thing in doing what I do is that a home isn't about the things, and, you know, it is to a degree. It is to a degree, because like I look around and I see these certain things that remind me of a time and a place, but it doesn't have to be the walls and the doors and the windows, because it's kind of what you make it. It's the candle that's on that's reminded me of something that feels like home, or, you know, so it's those elements that are kind of intangible. And so I think everywhere that I've lived, I've had a real connection at the core of the meaning of home.
It's got to have something to do with the fact that you know how to express yourself and your personality in your space.
Yes.
And you have that skill. And I think a lot of people are inspired by your skill to be able to do that. Like if you know, for anybody that doesn't know or hasn't seen your Instagram, like you have educated and informed the Australian interior vernacular with your work in Bell, with Instagram, with your new book called Moments at Home.
But I'm bomb ching.
Yeah,
Love you,
like,
Dazza.
perfect plug.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've really got this great skill of being able to interpret and place and consider and curate. And it is really inspiring, and it looks really beautiful. And it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does. But I think if you take the pressure out of it, and yes, like there's been a lot of times, especially with the places that I've done, and you would know exactly the same in every other creative interior designer, architect, whatever, when they're showing what they do, something that represents them essentially, work-wise, professionally, it's out there for the world.
The stakes are really high.
Stakes are high.
Yeah.
And it's pressure that you put on yourself, really.
Correct.
Because like, you know, everyone, yes, wants to see it. Maybe you'll have the people that are going, oh, he's supposed to be a designer. That color looks like a shade it's slightly wrong. Sure. It's so subjective. You cannot please everyone, and you shouldn't have to, because it's your space. And so I think for me, as long as I feel good in it and it represents me and my partner and my family, my friends, and we enjoy and we create memories in that space, then nothing else matters.
Yeah, this is the takeaway, I think, for anybody listening at home or seeing this. It is about satisfying your needs, satisfying the needs of people who's in the space, satisfying the things that light you up and bring you joy and give you passion.
Yeah.
And then having the skills to be able to curate it in a way that it's presented well. Oh, what a lovely, perfect breeze there is today. It's hitting just right. Oh, wait. It's my TurboBlade ultra powerful bladeless tower fan by Shark, customized to my exact specification. Dual adjustable vents pointed to direct airflow in multiple directions, surrounding me in refreshing, endless breeze. Pivoted horizontally, that's air blanket mode, to absolutely coat my home and body in cool, crisp air. And I mean, look how stunning it is. It looks more like a gorgeous sculpture than a fan. This is usually the part where I would take my shirt off, but on the perfect temperature, it would seem too random, too abrupt. But what, I let myself get outstaged by a fan? There's no way. Oh, whoops, how clumsy of me. The TurboBlade ultra powerful bladeless tower fan by Shark. Ultra powerful, endlessly adjustable. Before we started filming, you were restyling your shelves here. I mentioned offhand that one of the things I hate the most is styling shelves, because I do. I hate it.
But you're very good at it, so you know you need to get on that bandwagon.
Thank you, mate. It's like pulling hair out, but it's a little bit like you were saying to me while you're doing it, that there's a formula. So like, what's Steve Cordony's formula for styling a shelf?
Well, so you know what? Like, it's all about balance. So there is, and this is the thing, there is certain ingredients for shelves, but I want to talk about styling in general, whether it's a coffee table, bedside table, shelf, console, kitchen counter, whatever. You want coffee table books. You want some interesting objects, an objet, vases, ceramics, interesting pieces that you've got from your travels, sculptural moments, little artwork, vase from Italy, these little kind of ceramic things from Sicily. So just little things that are collected, but that kind of tell the story of you. Then when you put it all together, it's just about balance. So like the rule of 3, super, super easy. So we look at like this thing which is very geometric, and we want to kind of have that geometric edge, but we want some asymmetry there so it doesn't look one-dimensional. So stacks of books are the common thread, right? So start with that. I take everything out also. That's the number one. You cannot start and create something magic when you've got so much old stuff there. Like pull it all away. Even a coffee table, bedside table, I pull everything off and then I add it back in. And so coffee table books, make stacks of them. But even in that, the detail in that is to not have like, because if it goes with your aesthetic, and this is quite neutral in this space, all the spines, are they all neutral, Darren?
No, they're not. Yes, they are.
Okay, there's a couple of green
Yes,
things.
they are. No, but
These are quite
overarchingly
neutral.
they are. And you've got a little pop of colour, but basically it's all grey or brown or
Correct.
beige or light grey or
Which
black.
kind of goes with the whole aesthetic of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
For me, like if you're playing with a palette, then you've got to consider every single detail within the scheme as part of the palette. And one of the things people don't understand about styling is that it's an element that allows you to tie in disparate elements.
Yes.
It's one of the things that allows you to, you might have a color over there that's not related to something, and you can pull it in and replace it somewhere here, smaller and in a more considered way.
Yeah.
It's funny because while you're talking, I had a big smile on my face because it reminded me of a conversation that we had while you were teaching a styling class and I was in attendance at Cocoa Republic.
Yeah.
And you
I remember this.
Yeah, you had like this little thing for a vignette, and you had like all the different pieces, and you're like, so, first of all, I'm going to let people in the room style it, and then I'll show you how I do it. And then you went,
and then I'll tear it apart.
You have a go. And I was like, no way, dude. Like, not a chance in hell am I doing that. I'm just here to
like
look.
a test.
Yeah.
It's a test.
Like, no thanks. And that's exactly how I approach work, full stop. Like I have this pressure that I put on myself that every image, everything, every shot, everything has always got to be perfect. It's got to look right, and it's got to be the perfect representation of me, because my name is my face is my brand, and it's exactly the same for you. And what I think is really interesting is that we have that commonality, you know, that we've both built these brands that we just can't hide from. Like you've got to be authentic. You've got to show who you really are. But there's also, I think we have this opportunity, especially today, to talk about some of the stuff that people don't necessarily think about when it comes to building a brand or building a home or doing big projects or taking huge risks.
Yeah, totally. But it also kind of, it goes through many iterations. And we were talking about this as well before, is that you start off and you set out and you go, and to be honest, putting the name out there wasn't even a thought. It was just like, well, that's what I am. That's what I do. So that's going to be there. Like it wasn't like a branding. It's going to be Steve Cordony and stylist and da-da-da. But the thing is, it goes through different iterations where you start and then you're just doing it because you're passionate about it. And that's how I started. I was like, I got this job with Belle as an intern, as a stylist assistant. And then you kind of step out on your own, and then it's just you. You're not behind the lens of a magazine or, anything else. It's you. And then the pressure builds, and that's when it starts. And this was my 30s. And then you kind of work, and then you go, you never think you're going to get another job, because you do something and you're like, oh, maybe it's quiet this week. And then, okay, I'll take that. But then what if it doesn't? So you just never settled.
I always wonder when it's going to end. And I often think truly that it's any minute.
Yes.
Like I very often have this sort of awareness of like, oh, okay, well, cool. I mean, that was all good.
It was fun.
I mean, all right.
The candles were great. The
phone,
TV was great.
The phone might ring again, but
this is, and I think this is collective, because no matter what anyone does, whether it's us or whether it's an accountant or whether it's whatever, it's like that's just fear, essentially. You're just scared of relevance. You're scared of just, I don't know, being alone. It's just fear, and I definitely had that for many, 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 many years. And this is like, I talk like I'm a, bloody Gandhi at the moment. But
Oh, mate, I'm a sage of wisdom. I can levitate 2 inches off the ground.
So ready together. But in all of the work that I've been doing over the past few years, I've just kind of like just shifted that conscious to subconscious thinking.
And we're talking about therapeutic work.
Therapeutic work.
I'm like evangelical about therapy. Like
we talk about a lot together. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? It's probably, gosh, maybe 13 years, 13 good years of therapy. And I really don't think I'd be the person I am if I didn't have the insight into how I see things, how I understand things, how I relate to things, and just being generally self-aware.
Yes. And I wasn't for many, many years, because I started out doing what I loved, and then I was, quite in my head, sort of dealing with like coming out when I was younger, and I had like so much support around me, but it was all me. It was like, oh, but what if? And it was fear, right? Yeah. So you store that in your body, of course. And then you kind of, switch over, and then I met my partner, and then, built a life together, and just work went really well. And I was like, oh, this is my new world. And then it catches up with you. And then you go, well, I have to go back and deal with that stuff, which is great as well. But at the time, it's really, really effing hard.
Yeah.
So, but it makes you the best version of yourself. And it's a constant thing. It's constant work. It's like, for me, it's like eating really right. It's physical workout. It's meditation. It's taking time for myself. It's being selfish. Yeah. Like I have these things, and I was telling my family a few weeks ago, I have these things called Steve Day. It's like giving yourself permission to just have a day, to do whatever you want, which we don't do, because we've always got a friend who needs something. We've got a niece and nephew who, want to see you, or you've got emails to attend to. Like, we just don't know how to shut off our brain and give ourselves permission to do that. Yep. So it's Steve Day.
So my shrink said to me recently that I have to do something for fun, just for the sake of doing something fun.
Yeah. And did you find it so hard to think what that was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think everything's about an achievement. Everything has a goal, and everything has an outcome. And everything I do, there's no play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but I find play in my work, and I really love my job, and I really love all of that. So I should feel joy. But he's like,
which is great as well.
Of course, and we're very lucky.
Yeah, but it's a double-edged sword.
That we're passionate about, that we like, and that we enjoy, and that also that we get appreciated for. It's a brilliant place to be.
Totally.
But having fun just for the sake of fun was really a foreign idea to me.
And I think it's a foreign idea to many people. You go through all of that, and you don't think about yourself. You think about work, and you think about everyone else. And then when you finally make that switch to like, no, all starts and ends with you. And that's not selfish. That's being the best version of you to give to everyone else.
Yeah.
To be the best son, to be the best partner, to be the best brother, to be the best designer, stylist. That's
collaborator.
Totally. Yeah. And that's where you get to the point where I feel like I'm getting to now. And again, it's still a lot of work, but I don't stress about many things like I used to. And I really became like total
high.
Yeah, correct. Like really sick, like in hospital going, what is this? Panic attacks, da-da-da. And then you have to kind of unpack that.
For you, was it perfectionism?
1,000,000%.
Yeah, me too.
1,000,000%.
Me too. So for me, it's perfectionism. And, I had this conversation with someone the other day that, that is that sort of trope that if you're having a job interview and someone says to you, what's one of your,
bad attributes or things
bad
that
attributes. It's like, oh, well, I'm a perfectionist. And that's your get out of jail free card. Run for the hills if someone tells you they're a perfectionist, because with that comes criticism, comparison, just the theft of joy, like everything having to be controlled and perfect all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a submarine and someone's just let the air out and it's gonna
go. But everything has two sides, because if I wasn't a perfectionist and didn't have the drive, one point, but also growing up, struggling with my identity, and never thinking I was really going to be anything. So that ambition came from that.
Yeah.
And so you need to balance it. And that only comes with age. And I'm kind of dealing with that now and accepting that. Same with perfectionism. You've got to I have a love-hate relationship with it, because it's got me to where I am. Many, many, many positive things have happened from that.
Yeah.
And those two kind of, modalities. But also you kind of have to think about it and watch when it tips over the edge.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because for me, it's it was always, if I'm perfect and if everything I do is perfect and looks perfect and presents perfectly, then I'll be
Then
good
I am
enough.
perfect. Yeah.
I'll just be good enough.
Yes.
I'll be good enough then.
Yeah.
But only then.
Yes.
And unless it's perfect, then I'm not good enough.
And that's all the external stuff.
Yeah.
So when you get rid of all the external stuff, which is all there, and it's still there now, and I love it, but when you are centered, let's say, internally, that's when you're the best version of yourself.
So this is a great way to get into Rosedale Farm, because there's so many interesting facets to Rosedale Farm for me. One of them is, during COVID, during the sort of 2020s, you were sort of just finishing Rosedale Farm. You'd photographed it beautifully, done lots of content, put it through Instagram. Instagram blew up. It was like a really amazing place for you to capture content.
Yeah.
But let's step back to where the idea came from. We now know that it's actually a representation of your childhood.
Just today in this conversation, we've realized.
How about that?
Yeah.
Did you have the idea of where you wanted to find a home? Did you have an idea of what sort of home you're looking for? What did that Google search look like? That's what I want to know.
Do you know what? It really wasn't. So Mike really wanted, he had the idea to buy a farm. I was like, maybe we do a beach place. We wanted to do something that we could sink our teeth into. He was going to do the garden and I was going to do the interiors. And so we just searched. 3.5 years it took us, which was actually great because in that search we were traveling around and seeing different properties. And then the funny thing is that when we found Rosedale, which was by chance, we turned up and the conversation stopped being, is this, but can we do it? It was just like, right, so I think probably we'll go white, probably black front door. I think we can do a hedge here. We'll probably reinstate the drive. The conversation just naturally shifted. And that's like the world coming together, letting you know that this is the right place and time. And so 3.5 years, we found it and we just started renovating. And it wasn't with the intention of what it is now. It was just to kind of keep us busy on the weekends and sink our teeth into something that was quite meaningful. And we had a great time along the way doing it, The first 2 years was very much just doing whatever we can and throwing all of our resources into it and doing a lot of the work ourselves because we couldn't afford to get everyone to do it for us.
Build a son,
mate. And even though I don't know how to really use a hammer, but Dad was there, which is great.
Thanks,
he was
Dad.
shoving. Thanks, Dad. I was in management on those days. Yeah, this should be here just a little to the left, which is great. They love that. But it was just, we just kind of chipped away, right? And it just was really fun. And then, yes, when all that sort of COVID stuff happened and we were documenting it a little bit, but then it went really to the next level. And then it was kind of like this perfect storm if we're talking about all the stuff that we've dealt with therapeutically and mentally and all those things that have happened and shifted for me in the past sort of 4 or 5 years. That was when it was, because it's like, there's things happening and like it's, we're sharing quite a bit and this is so personal. And the reason why it was so personal is because, funnily enough, Michael used to doodle at school this drawing of this sketch of a house. He drew it for me one day on a napkin when we were out at dinner. It was Rosedale. My constant vision in my head of what I never thought I would have was the white house. It had a white picket fence. We don't have a white picket fence here, but it was the white house. It was the dog. And it was this reoccurring theme as I was growing up and struggling a little bit of like, but I'll never have that. But it was so painterly in my head. And so we had this kind of connection with this particular project, which was why I think it became what it was. And it was magic. Like it's a beautiful property, not because of what we did with it. There is something about where it is, and it gives me goosebumps because it was just this, it was this connection of our two worlds when we were growing up and we were young, when we did not know each other, coming together, finding this property, 8, 9 years into our relationship, a bit earlier than that, sorry. And just, it was meant to be. Like, I really feel like it was just meant to be and happen that way.
Then you opened up Rosedale and you let people come into your home and you held events there and it became part of your work and a really prosperous part of your work. That by all accounts was extremely educational for people when they came and inspiring. What was it like for you having people in your home that you had built to be something that's important for you and Mike to have together, and then going, actually, here it is as a product.
Yeah. So many people ask me that. Like even on the days when I would hold the masterclasses, and we'd have people, like hundreds and hundreds of people going in there. The garden tour, we had 2,000 people over the weekend, not this weekend, but over weekends. But I always just said the same thing. I love having people in the house because that's what we do it for. You know, whether it's my family, whether it's my friends, whether it's, you know, whoever comes to fix something, like they'll always mention something. And the dining room, because of the wallpaper, which is actually on the cover of the book, is a prime example of that. You'll always get a response from someone going in there, whether it's my electrician, my nephew, my brother, my dad. Like it's just it's a convivial thing, right? And that's what homes should do. They should start conversations. And so I loved it. I loved sharing what we created. Like it was a sense of pride in that.
At what point did you feel comfortable doing that? Because like the reason I ask is I've just finished my place in Bondi, and I've had several shoots there and stuff, but I have actually haven't had anybody in there really yet. Yeah. And there is
for any reason, or just because
socially. But also not commercially kind of, but socially. And I think it's because I'm still, there's a part of me that's like I'm afraid of being judged. Like I'm afraid of what people are going to think of what I made for myself.
Yourself. Yep. Is it the best thing? Because what you think is in everyone's head is like, this has to be the best thing they've ever seen because he's an interior designer and he's on the block and he needs, and so you have that. So that. And I've been to the house and it's beautiful, so you don't have to worry about it. But for me, I honestly didn't think about it too much. Like there was elements of that for sure, especially when I was doing photo shoots, because that's my soul, that's my passion, that's where I started my career, right? So creating the best image that I could do for the pages of the magazine. My brain just needs beauty. And I think like even if I'm looking at this thing now, which is a lot of cameras and off into my apartment, but like I think of it in the context and in the confines of a page, like I'm seeing a magazine spread. That's just how I work.
How funny! I see everything in 3 dimensions, and I overlay the what will be over the what is, and I see them both at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird skill to have.
Yes, but it's also your superpower. And that really is, and I think we all have a superpower, no matter what genre of work we're in. We always have something that we probably don't tap into enough. And I always sort of thought that it was just never enough, but like now I know, and I can actually sit with that and go, well, it is my superpower. Making spaces feel good for people seems very simple, but that's my joy.
Yeah. And like, it's aspiration, it's inspiration, it's the way that you can educate people so that they can see through your lens and they can be able to reinterpret what you're showing in their own lives, in their own homes. Yeah. That's also a superpower.
Yeah. 100%. Well, thank you. But I want people to have the superpower to be able to do that in their homes, because get rid of the pressure, get rid of the like, oh, but I saw that magazine and that Instagram photo and that looks so beautiful. Cool, that's great. That looks beautiful for who lives there. But you don't live there. You live at your home. So how do you want it to look? How do you want it to feel? And you cannot argue with that. Again, so we can think about that in 2 ways, in this sort of conscious realm of like, okay, well, this color goes with this and this cushion needs to be here and I want this really beautiful sofa and, I want it to be great so my friends can see it and I can post it on Instagram and blah, 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 right? That's our conscious sort of world. But then now, again, coming back to that kind of like being able to kind of step back from it, that's when you start bringing in the intangible elements, the things that you can't, the things that you can feel rather than just see. And I think when you get those two, then that's where the magic happens. And you could be in any space. It could look like anything, but it feels like you. And that's the sweet spot.
So what's it like for you now? Because, Rosedale Farm, that dream is done.
Yeah.
It's on the market.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to pack it up, I assume, unless someone buys everything that's in it.
Yeah. And which we are, most of it is going with the farm, yeah.
That's the idea?
Correct. Except for, and this is, I'm sure we'll go down this line in a sec, but yeah, apart from the things that really truly have meaning. And everything did, of course, like the whole thing had meaning. And
some things are just things And some things are memories.
Heart memories.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And funnily enough, the things that are that special are not the sofa and not the chandelier that I sourced in Italy and did it. Like, that was fun, of course. And I wanted to be perfect for that project. But the things that like make me feel something and that I just will not leave, they're the things that I'll take. And it's, it's little artworks that I've brought to this, interim apartment. And it's like things that we bought in Paris or whatever, travels, or things that have been handed down, or a book that I bought was $2, like it's just these little
Memories.
things. Yeah, because of where I was at that space and time.
Yep. And it's a little bit like buying a piece of clothing while you're on a holiday.
Yeah.
Because the next time you wear that and you're not on holiday, it
You
reminds
remind
you
you.
of being on holiday.
Same with the scent thing. Yeah, it's all the intangible things.
Yeah.
And so, yes, will I miss it? Absolutely. It was just the most incredible chapter of my life for many, many reasons. But creatively, my brain is always going and it's always already onto the next thing. And that we should always be moving forward and changing and evolving, because that's kind of the key to life.
Yeah.
I could stay.
If you don't move, you're dead.
Well, yeah, and I could very happily live there forever, and I thought I would at many, many points. But I think those points probably were because that was the dream that I never thought I would have. So I did it, and it was amazing, and it was just, honestly, it would just be something that I'll think about, when I'm very, very old.
You have photographs to prove it.
Absolutely. But I'll also have the memories.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting, like with my place in Bondi, I had such mixed emotions about getting it finished and getting it on the market, because I wanted to hold on to it so much because it meant so much to me, and I put so much effort into it and so much time and money and passion and meaning into this home. And I realized through therapy that it was like the chrysalis of a caterpillar. It was the thing that kept me safe for the metamorphosis.
Yeah.
But it had to break. It had to be shed. And I had to be able to let it go so I could become a butterfly. Instead of something that was protecting me, it became something that was constraining me, holding me back.
We always say like, oh, but does it feel like home, or is it going to be, are you in your forever home? And like,
I don't believe in that concept.
Neither do I. Home is forever, but home is wherever you are.
Yeah.
Because that is forever. And so it doesn't have to be like the perfect, and this is like, I haven't even got a dining table. I've literally got a sofa, a couple of armchairs, some lots of accessories, and bits and pieces. And then I've got my luggage, and I've got like just things where I'm like in and out, because that's the time and space that I'm in at the moment. But I just love being here. It feels like home, and it's safe, and it's warm, and I've got my candle and my book and the dog. Like it doesn't need to be Rosedale. It doesn't need to be on the cover of a magazine, because it makes me feel great. And that's worth even more than any of that.
And doesn't that just kind of take the pressure off what home needs to be for you, and it can just be home?
Yeah. And home should be exactly that. It shouldn't be pressure. It shouldn't be, oh, I've got to clean this because someone's coming over, and oh, I've got to make this perfect, and no, I actually need to spend more money on the sofa because, and that's all lovely stuff. Don't get me wrong. I would do that in a matter of months when I find the next project,
So what is it? What are you thinking? What's the future? Like, what's the napkin drawing look like for
do you know what?
the next iteration?
The next iteration will be, I really want to do something back in the city, because I haven't done that since our Surrey Hills apartment. And so I want to do something that, again, still has my blueprint style DNA, but is sort of a bit more city-centric. So I've got this vision of this like incredible apartment. A terrace would be great, but I have this really fond memory of living in the apartment. I love apartment living, right? I could very happily live in a hotel room, by the way. So I want to do something like that, and then film that and take people on the journey to show them that this is how you do it from the start, like from the mood boarding to choosing all the accessories and designing and step by step, right? And then something bigger, but I think coastal will be the next thing.
Maybe a place to host some events.
Absolutely. Yeah. But so yes, absolutely. But in the interim now, I'm doing lots of events around. So New York in a couple of months, London at the end of the year, Italy, Melbourne, like just now kind of taking it to other people's homes, which I love because I've learned it all at Rosedale. I've got, all of that kind of stuff down pat, and now I'm like want to take it and share it with as many people as I can. So coastal, something there, and again, like, you know what it's like, it's fun renovating. I know it stresses everyone out, and especially us, but I think now, because the pressure is kind of, I've taken that off to a degree. Don't get me wrong, in like however long it takes me to find a property, I'll probably be calling all of my friends going, is it this shade of blue or this shade of blue? Crying, I don't know, should I buy this chandelier? Like, you know, but that's part of the journey. That's part of the story.
So people, Steve Cordony himself does that too.
Absolutely.
Designed by
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's getting less and less over at Rosedale. Absolutely. It was much like that. But I think now, because of the space I'm in, it'll just happen much more organically. So I'm excited.
So what I'm getting is really, no matter where you land, no matter what it is, as long as you're there and the things that have memories for you, it's going to feel like home.
Yeah, 100%. And you can't beat that, because that's a feeling, and that's the best feeling in the world.
That was my conversation with the wonderful Steve Cordony. A lovely reminder that sometimes in our search for home, we lead ourselves right back to the place we've known all along. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with a friend who'd love to hear it too. And thanks for joining me.